Hey guys, Summer here, coming to you from Greensboro Downtown Yoga. And in today's movement mantra, we're going to talk about something kind of fun. We're going to talk about your feet. Yay! But feet don't get talked about that much, but yet they're really kind of cool little things. They are actually the foundation of everything that we do, right? You walk around all day on your feet. But how often do you take some time to give them the little bit of self-love? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at how can we take care of our feet in a way on our own without paying someone to give us an expensive massage. But if you want to do that, definitely do it as well. So I'm going to show you kind of a quick way to do this, and then you can also do it in an extended version on your own as well. So the first thing that you're going to do is take your hand, right? And you can sit in a way that's comfortable for you. For me, it's with my legs crossed like this. You might be more comfortable with your leg out there. Maybe you have your leg propped up on a pillow or a block. You find what's comfortable for you. So if you're doing this with your left leg, you're going to use your right hand, okay? So my right hand, I'm going to go through and give myself a little handshake. So my fingers are going all the way through my toes. See how I've kind of pulled it all the way back? And then I'm just gonna take my hand and make some nice forward and backward motions. And you can circle it. You can kind of do stuff that feels nice for you. I have fingernails that are digging into me right now. But regardless, you just kind of want to make circles. Get some movement going in those toes. You know, and a lot of times we forget that part of our foot, it's supposed to move. It's really important to everything that we do. So you can spend 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes kind of doing that. And then you're going to take your two knuckles of your two fingers, and we're just going to slide them from the top of your foot down to the middle down the middle and all the way to your heel. And you're just gonna kind of go back and forth with that. And if it feels really nice, like get into the arch, kind of find the area on you that might be a little bit tight. So right now I'm doing about 5 to 10 swipes roughly. Again, as you get more into this, maybe you do more. Now we're going to take our thumbs, this is my favorite part, and we're going to poke into our foot. So we're going to start up here kind of at the ball of our foot and just really dig in nicely. And then we go down our foot. And the further down you go, you start to find maybe tender spots. For me, my arch right here is like super, super tender. For others, it gets down into the heel. Especially if you've ever dealt with something like plantar fasciitis, which is that tightness on the bottom of your foot. And then when you step down, it feels like panes and shards of glass, right? So that fascia is that covering, that sheath over the top of your muscle. And there's a lot more technical way that we could describe it, but that's kind of the basics. And this is helping kind of break up some of those adhesions that get put in, especially for those of you who might wear heels at any point in the day. It can really impact there. So you go by, you kind of do that. Then you flip the foot over, and we kind of do the same thing, but now in between the toes here. And this one's kind of funny to me. So a couple years ago, I broke these two toes. Funny story, I was at work training a client, and we had this kind of this bin, or like storage cabinet, whatever. And there was weights stacked on it. And I went and grabbed a set of 10-pound weights for my client, and another weight rolled down. And it was at the top of the shelf. It was probably 3 feet tall, dropped down, hit my toes kind of right here at the exact angle. And I was like, oh dear Lord, that hurt. And I was like, I'm fine, kept training my client, got through the session, iced them, was in a lot of pain. Anyway, come to find out I broke these two toes. And now, if you pay attention, they kind of don't move independently. But if I push right here, you can see how they spread apart. And it kind of amuses me. Anyway, maybe you have something fun on your foot like that as well. So you want to get in between those tendons. You want to kind of go up and down your foot like that. And then start to kind of like knead your foot. And go up and down, and then you're going to go into the back right here. And so this is your Achilles tendon on the back of your leg right there. It's that big, strong tendon that attaches into your foot and is one of those that you do not want to mess up. As a person with a bad ankle on the other side, don't do anything to your ankle. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking these two fingers and I'm pinching as I go up into my leg, right? Now you can go as high or as low, and you might find it feels nice to kind of rub, do any kind of method there that feels good. Again, long or short as you want, and then we're gonna start kneading into the leg, and we go up. So your leg is your soleus, is this muscle down here, and then it kind of sits underneath your gastrocnemius here on top. And we want to get both areas of that we're working in. For some people, especially runners, cyclists, the soleus and the gastroc get super, super tight. Anyone who does jumping activities as well, these are just not a happy area. So we go down that. You can kind of do it as long as feels good. Then you want to take and just make big sweeps. Just kind of flush all that out. That's my favorite, one of my favorite parts of it as well. Feels really nice. Then we're going to go back to the foot. So now you should feel like there's a little bit more heat in your leg, in your foot. And you want to splay your toes. I had a friend recently, she called these toe gymnastics. I thought that was really cute. It's like they're doing little splits. You're going to do splits back and forth here and go back and forth, kind of up and down. So as a dancer, feet have always been a really important thing to me. Then as a runner, I kind of neglected them. And now that I'm back into kind of a barefoot style of training with yoga and all, I've returned to the importance of feet. And I started doing stuff like this, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. Now we're going to make splits like this. And it really has made a big difference on how just kind of my feet, my knees, my hips feel overall. There's discussion that sometimes tightness in the bottoms of our feet can impact our knees and our hips. And so taking the time to give yourself some self-love like this feels really good. And maybe your knee pain could potentially feel better. Last thing, you're going to take your foot and just do big swipes. And you just kind of want to get, again, that blood to go boom all the way down. Now, sit and just take your feet. And I don't know if you can see mine real well, but the big difference, and you should notice this as well, that foot that you just worked, do you notice how like alive and plump it feels? Versus this other one that kind of looks like a shriveled up raisin. My foot's really cold, but it also is just not as alive as that other one. And that's what we were just working on. We were really trying to get that blood flow into the foot. So let's go ahead and do that other side as well. So again, the steps. First thing we do, little yogi handshake. Toes in, move it around. Notice this side will probably move and feel different than your other side. You'll notice I struggle a little bit more on this side. I've had 2 reconstructions in this ankle and it doesn't always move as well. So we're gonna see how it moves today. All right, next thing, we take our 2 knuckles and we slide down. We find from that top down to our heel. You just kind of keep making movements. Again, remember, you can do this for as long or as short as you need. Next, take your thumbs and start massaging and just kind of, I'm not a baker, so I can't necessarily say this, but it, to me, makes me think of like kneading bread. and getting into kind of into that way of doing it. No, there's a tender spot for me, so I'm going to hang out there. Again, kind of do it in a way that feels good for you. And then flip your foot over and let's go in between those little toe joints and how you can start to maneuver into each of those as well. And feel that. And maybe you could even, we didn't do this on the other side, but you could take those fingers and kind of run them up and down the links of those tendons that are on the top of your foot as well. Next thing, we're going to go onto the back of our foot right here and into that Achilles. So this is my really bad ankle. So you'll notice for me that's a kind of hard place to be. But that's where you want to be, just kind of doing that massage pinch up and down. So then we go into the calf, or that soleus and gastrocnemius. And this is where I could just hang out all day. My calf gets so tight. I think it did before I messed up my ankle, and then after I messed up my ankle, it became even worse. Oh, so we're just gonna hang out here. Maybe it's not your spot for you, and if not, lucky you. But again, runners, cyclists, jumpers, any of those people, we tend to get really tight in that area. Then take our hand and swipe down, big swipes. Get that blood to flow into the leg again in a way that feels nice. And then go back to your feet for some toe gymnastics. And remember, sitting like I am right here is just not comfortable to you, don't do it. Find a way that feels good to you. I've got pretty open hips, so sitting like this is a natural position for me. But if it's not for you, find another way. Don't make yourself uncomfortable while you're giving yourself the joys of a foot massage. Spread. And then take your hand and big sweeps. Big sweeps. And remember, this can be something that takes 5 minutes. It can be something that takes 20 minutes. It really is kind of based on what you need, how much time you have. There's more that we could do as well. But that's kind of the basics of how you can give yourself a lovely little foot massage and give yourself some yogi handshakes, which is what we call that little position. So until next time, I'm Summer. Bye.